So now, you're an older man, maybe in your 40s, 50s, or even 60s. You've lived life. You've faced challenges, taken hits, and learned your lessons the hard way. And then, suddenly, a younger woman enters your life. She brings energy, excitement, curiosity, and somehow, she gives you genuine attention, not just surface level politeness. That feeling, it awakens something inside you again. It feels fresh. It feels exciting. And this is exactly where most men begin to make quiet mistakes. When an older man becomes attracted to a younger woman, something shifts within him. He starts to forget his value. He overlooks his experience, his depth, his inner strength. Instead, he begins adjusting himself. He tries to blend into her world. He softens who he is. He becomes less grounded. And gradually, he starts behaving like someone else. And the moment that happens, the dynamic changes. She no longer sees a strong man. She sees someone trying too hard. And that's when attraction begins to fade. This isn't about judging anyone. It's about awareness and self-control. You have to protect your self-respect, your identity, and your strength. When you feel that attraction, you need to stay grounded. A calm man moves with intention. He doesn't chase. He doesn't lose himself. What we're talking about today are mistakes to avoid. These aren't just dating tips, these are principles that protect your value. First, never try to act like her age. You are not equal in life experience, and that's not a disadvantage, it's your strength. Many older men try to imitate younger behavior. They change their style, follow trends, act like they fully belong in her world. But all that does is weaken your position. You lose what makes you unique. A woman can sense when you're trying too hard. It feels unnatural, and that quietly breaks attraction. Your age is not a weakness. It's your greatest advantage. You've lived through pain, growth, and transformation, and that creates presence. That creates depth. A younger woman doesn't need you to pretend. She's drawn to what she hasn't developed yet, your calmness, your confidence, your stability. When you stop trying to match her energy and simply remain grounded, you naturally become more attractive. Second, don't turn into her emotional support system. This is something many men fall into without even realizing it. She starts sharing her problems, her past, her emotions. And you listen. You want to help. You feel needed. But slowly, you become her emotional outlet. She reaches out when she feels low. She shares everything. And you start believing this is connection, but it's not attraction. It's dependency. There's a clear difference between being present and being used emotionally. A strong man listens, but he doesn't absorb everything. He remains steady. He doesn't try to fix everything. He doesn't sacrifice his peace. If she brings emotional chaos, you stay calm. That balance is powerful. When you remain centered, she respects you more. But when you become her emotional crutch, she stops seeing you as a man. Third, never chase her validation. This is one of the most common mistakes. You start giving more compliments. You wait for her replies. You adjust your behavior just to keep her interested. And slowly, you begin seeking her approval. That's where everything starts to fall apart. The moment you depend on validation, you lose control. You stop leading, and start pleasing. And that shift is always noticed, even if it's never spoken out loud. A man who knows his worth doesn't look for approval. He already values himself. When you stay confident and centered, you don't need her validation, and that's exactly what creates attraction. If she takes time to respond, you stay busy. You live your life. You don't chase. You don't panic. You remain in control. And that's what keeps your value strong, and your presence powerful. Fourth, don't try to impress her. This is where many men go wrong. They overthink. They try too hard. They want to say the perfect thing every time, and that creates pressure. You become someone trying to win her. And in doing that, you lose your natural confidence. A strong man doesn't perform, he leads. He makes decisions calmly. He moves with purpose. He doesn't feel the need to prove himself. Real leadership is quiet. It's not loud or aggressive. It's about direction and confidence. You decide where to go. You speak clearly. You stay relaxed. When you lead, she feels safe. But when you try to impress, she feels pressure. And that difference changes everything. The more natural and calm you are, the more she feels drawn to you. Real strength is simple and steady. Fifth, don't build a future in your mind too early. This is a subtle mistake, but a dangerous one. You meet her, and suddenly your mind starts creating stories. You imagine possibilities. You picture a future together. And without realizing it, you create a false attachment. You stop seeing reality clearly. You ignore warning signs. You accept things you normally wouldn't. And eventually, this leads to disappointment, because you fall in love with an idea, not the real person. Stay present. Watch her actions. Don't rush emotionally. Real connection takes time.